That's why a lot of people are going there taking pictures. We are here in the Alamo in San Antonio, Texas. So that's it. See?
The Alamo Mission, commonly called the Alamo and originally known as the Mission San Antonio de Valero, is a historic Spanish mission and fortress compound founded in the 18th century by Roman Catholic missionaries in what is now San Antonio, Texas, United States. It was the site of the Battle of the Alamo in 1836, where American folk heroes James Bowie and Davy Crockett died. Today it is a museum in the Alamo Plaza Historic District and a part of the San Antonio Mission's World Heritage Site. The historic district was one of the early Spanish missions in Texas, built for the education of local American Indians after their conversion to Christianity. The mission was secularized in 1793 and then abandoned. 10 years later, it became a fortress housing the 2nd Flying Company of San Carlos de Paris military unit, who likely gave the mission the name Alamo. During the Texas Revolution, Mexican General Martin Perfecto de Ca surrendered the fort to the Texian army in December 1835, following the siege of Bexar. A relatively small number of Texian soldiers then occupied the compound for several months. The defenders were wiped out at the Battle of the Alamo on March 6, 1836. As the Mexican army retreated from Texas several months later, they tore down many of the Alamo walls and burned some of the buildings. February 23, 1836, the siege of the Alamo began when Colonel William B. Travis ordered his men to fire the 18-pounder cannon from the southwest corner of the Alamo into the Mexican encampment in response to General Santa Anna's offer to surrender.
We are going inside. And it's hot in here. So this is a historical place in San Antonio, Texas. See. So let's go inside, guys.
For the next 5 years, the Alamo was periodically used to garrison soldiers, both Texian and Mexican, but was ultimately abandoned. In 1849, several years after Texas was annexed to the United States, the U.S. Army began renting the facility for use as a quartermaster's depot, before again abandoning the mission in 1876 after nearby Fort Sam Houston was established. The Alamo Chapel was sold to the state of Texas, which conducted occasional tours but made no effort to restore it. The remaining buildings were sold to a mercantile company that operated them as a wholesale grocery store. The Daughters of the Republic of Texas, DRT, formed in 1891 and began trying to preserve the Alamo. Adina Amelia de Zavala and Clara Driscoll successfully convinced the state legislature in 1905 to purchase the remaining buildings and to name the DRT as the permanent custodian of the site. Over the next century, periodic attempts were made to transfer control of the Alamo from the DRT. In early 2015, Texas Land Commissioner George P. Bush officially moved control of the Alamo to the Texas General Land Office. 5. The Alamo and the 4 missions in the San Antonio Mission's National Historical Park were designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site on July 5, 2015.
And part of that as a result of losing this war. Virginia. View your photo.
Yeah, they charging. Yeah, I know, sir.
In the early 1900s, it was widely thought that mature trees could not be transplanted. Walter Wall, a retired English seaman, proved it could be done and started San Antonio's first tree moving company. With simple tools, he cleared dirt from around a tree's roots, then lifted it from the ground with block and tackle. Wall transported trees throughout San Antonio on wagons pulled by mules. He contended that the hardest part of the process was avoiding the telegraph and power lines. This live oak was approximately 40 years old when Wall brought it to the Alamo in 1913. The base of the tree now measures 12 feet in circumference, while its branches sprawl over 50 feet.